Not
Yeah.
being prepared means you have the opportunity to learn. You've got
And
the
grow,
opportunity
right.
to grow. You've got the opportunity to expand your
Uh,
knowledge.
Okay, just to start this very casual chat, can you introduce yourself? Tell us more about your background and what made you pursue a career in tech.
Um, my background, my background is in tech, just in a different arena. I did primarily contracting, desktop support, system administration side of tech for the last 15, 16 years. Um, and I did not see, because my degree is not in that area, I just didn't see the growth. I didn't see the growth that I wanted to see. So I decided to switch over to development and software engineering.
was
Wow,
it,
that's great.
do you think, to kind
I,
of start
I
over?
didn't hear. I didn't hear you.
I always said, did you think that it was a bit intimidating for you? What was kind of going through your mind that decided that you would make the switch over, that big change?
Um, I don't know if it was intimidating. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I would like it. I didn't know if it would be something that I even wanted to do. There was no intimidation. It was just unknown, right? So I just jumped in it head first because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Luckily, I love it. I actually really enjoy it, but I didn't know that until I started, and then I was like, "Hmm, this is kind of cool. I can do this."
Yeah, no, it's literally just taking the risk and
Hmm.
just gotta have faith in that it'll work itself out regardless of, what you do. And
Right.
exactly that. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you say, moving kind of building on that, how do you think your career goals have changed since completing the program? We'd love to talk, kind of about your ambitions and maybe what your outlook was for yourself before the program and now after the program.
Um, Honestly, I don't think they've really changed too much. I'm still in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what do you call it? The specialization.
Hmm.
So I'm still kind of, learning and all that good stuff, but my goals have not changed. I went into this with the primary goal of building a better life for myself,
Yeah,
um and a better quality of life. Those were my goals, and those are still my goals. Making sure that I'm able to, live a comfortable life, take care of my family, make sure my mother's taken care of and all that good stuff.
100%.
Um, yeah, that's really still my goal. That's always been. That was what I went into this program with.
Yeah, and I love that you kind of had that consistency. It was more of like that was your North Star. Like
Right.
whatever it's gonna take for you to
Yep.
get there, regardless of what that might end up being. And luckily you love what it is that got you there.
Right.
That's on your
Exactly.
journey there. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that sounds really inspiring. For you to really pursue a career in tech in order for you to, live a good life or
Mhm.
provide a good life for your family, for your mom. It's really great.
Yeah. Yeah. I am a firm believer that if you work hard, you should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
You
agree.
absolutely should be able um, to go on a vacation if you want to, or go out to a nice restaurant or do whatever
Treat
you
yourself.
feel, yeah, for
Yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah.
And I shouldn't have to worry about if my mother needs something, whether financially or whatever she may need. I shouldn't be able worried about, oh, can I do that for her? Am I able to? Like, that shouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And I think that with that, that's where you actually get to see
Yeah.
that value that it's not about just like how much money you're able to make, right? But it's
Right.
like the flexibility and the freedom
Right.
you get from it. Like, yeah, like you could be making so much money, but you could be like working like 15 hours a day.
Right.
So it's like the fact that what more is the return and the luxury is having that time with your family, having that burden, that weight kind of lifted off of you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even maybe you might not be the richest person in the world, but
Right.
you're still happy. Like you're still
Right.
kind of
You're
enjoying.
happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So one thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning of this interview is that definitely want this to be super conversational. Like,
Mhm.
we just want this to really just highlight, what kind of your thinking was throughout this whole experience and learn more about you. I'll learn more about your experience and also just learn more about how it's kind of been able to help you grow yourself and, really find a way to highlight your journey and what came out of it for you. So
Okay.
I love the insight so far. I love kind of learning kind of your thought process through
All
it.
right.
I think that there's tons of people out there that can relate to you. I feel like it's really easy to say that, oh, well, the goal is to, make more money. The goal is to find a flexible job. But it's like, okay, but the actual goal is so that I can have more time to do the things that I actually want to do
All
or
right.
people that I actually care about.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Okay. So moving more into the program, love to hear more about your experience with our instructors. So, right now, I know you're kind of going through the process and it's really fresh on your mind, your experiences with everyone. So, how is it so far interacting with the instructors, interacting with the lessons, any kind of, memorable interactions or anything that might have even helped you overcome some challenges that you've been going through?
When I first started the program, Christian Sachs was he was my instructor, the greatest instructor I think in all the instructors that I've ever had. And I've had a lot, but Christian was so knowledgeable. If he didn't know it, we researched things together until
Oh,
we found a solution. It was like working with your best friend, right? Every time I reached out to him and called him, he was just like warm, inviting. But I can say that for every instructor here. It's every instructor is kind, they're patient. Um,
mm,
every time I make a one-on-one, I get Daniel, and he is just super calm. And sometimes I know I'm asking just the most retarded and ridiculous questions, and probably simple. And he's just like, no, no worries. Let's look at it together. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And it's always, hey, if you have any other concerns, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Now that I've started my back end specialization, Dylan has reached out to me
mhm.
and been very, very warm and welcoming. The videos that he records for the back end specialization are so cool and just
Uh,
calm and just, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And he reminds us of his office hours. We can reach out to him. I love the open door policy that all the instructors have, but
Mhm,
Christian left a mark. Christian left a mark on me, maybe just because he was my instructor, for the core course. um that he just kind of stuck to us, right? And we spend a lot more time with him, but Christian just has a special place in my heart,
uh,
because he is just that kind, sweet and kind-hearted and understanding, knowledgeable.
mhm.
He's the perfect instructor, I think.
I really love how
Wow.
you described it as like you are working with your best friend. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that is the best teacher that you could possibly have is to have someone that, you know, mm, they might not be maybe, they don't need to know everything, but the
Right.
fact that one, they're willing to support you and regardless of what the situation is, and two, if they didn't know something, they'll put in the work to know it
Yes.
with you. And I think
Yes.
that is something that when you said specifically that even reflecting on, my own experience with other constructors, that is something that makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, it really does. And even like you said, they don't have to know everything by heart. But I never left off of a call or meeting with Christian not having my question answered, not having it answered, and then also not having it explained. So
Right.
once we looked it up and found what the issue was, then he was able to say, okay, so this is why this happened. This is what we did to fix it. In the future, this is what you can do to either avoid that, or this is the fix that you can put in place to remedy it if it happens.
They're just giving you everything, like giving you every
Right.
possible situation.
Yes.
Like, okay, if this happens, do this. If that ends up happening instead, then maybe you could do this. But if
Right.
this happens, then you could go ahead and do this as well.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
And it was so it's just he's perfect. He'll always have a special place in my heart.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing to hear. And I think that that's super important is because something that is also hard to find sometimes is a teaching style that helps with you.
Yes.
I feel like in any case when you're having education, you're learning, it can be so hard when the instructor or whoever, they might not be the bad instructor, but it just might not match to what your learning is. So
Right.
the fact
Right.
that he was adjusting to you and you were able to find that with it is super important.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
have ADHD pretty bad, and me
Mm.
concentrating and staying on task is a very challenging
It's
thing for me,
hard, yeah.
right? So, but Christian would always he'll just reach out to me and be like, "Hey, where you at with your course? How's it going?" He always checked in, right? Just made sure I was on task. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm not doing dishes right now when I should be studying. No, I'm not doing that." Right?
Yeah.
Because I'll just find whatever needs to be done, right? And it just distracts me. So, it's always good to have that. It's always good to have that.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I feel like you don't realize how much it actually makes a difference when someone's checking up on you until
Yes.
you notice, oh, like, okay, it kind of makes you sit back and you're like, oh, like, am I good? Like, yeah, I'm
Yep.
good. And then if they do it consistently, that's really what helps you keep yourself like in check, on track.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So
That was my Christian.
I love that so
Yeah.
much.
I
All
love
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Pat, go
just
ahead.
to add, I really love the fact that you've received a personalized attention during
Mm.
your coding temple journey. Like it's not just, the instructors doing everything by the book or by theory. They are really putting the work into it whenever you
Right.
have really specific questions or any concerns that or challenges that you've been through. And yeah, and
Right.
that's really, a plus points in entering coding temple. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Then moving on. So now that we've tackled your experiences with our instructors, how about on the curriculum? Do you have any your favorite modules or favorite programming languages or any projects that you might want to share, or what are the challenges that you have encountered
Oh, that's a
throughout
good
the
one.
journey?
Um,
Lots to unpack.
let's see. I don't know that I have any specific projects. But Python is by far was my favorite like coding language. So all of the modules, doing Python, um, I loved doing those. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. We've done quite a few projects. Probably my library management system, I think I'm most proud of, especially once we integrated like SQL into it and actually started altering an actual database and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I think that was probably my favorite one. It presented, with it being a new language for me, it did present a special circumstance of challenges. But again, Christian was there the whole time if I had any concerns. But also, I just put in that time. I was up all night. I stopped coding. I took my laptop off the docking station. I would take it into bed with me. I'd take a little nap. I'd wake up, roll over, and start coding in bed. Right? It was ridiculous. Like I was
Pride was
much.
real.
Yeah, I was coding like 24/7 and just taking little short naps in between. And finally, I figured it took me like a week to get that project done. But once it was done, I was so proud. I was so proud of it. And I took it to my mom and I had her test it so that she could see, the work that I was doing and she could, test it out for me to make sure that everything worked as it should, right?
Right.
And I was super proud of that. Super proud. So
And
of the modules, the curriculum itself was a unique curriculum. I will say that the core course curriculum is unique.
mhm.
With the pre-recorded voice, sometimes it mispronounced and misenunciated some words. And it was weird. But the videos that I think it was Donovan did, the videos within each lesson, he
Mhm.
would give examples and actually do a hands-on videos. Those helped the most
Mhm.
because some of the time, some of the things that the pre-recording was trying to explain, I didn't quite understand. I would go back and try to replay it. But then once Donovan came on and actually said, "Okay, this is let me break it down for you," right?
Right, right.
Then that kind of helped a lot. That helped a lot more me to understand the concepts. And then, of course, every pretty much every day, every evening, um, Christian went through the lesson and he gave a full breakdown of this week where this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna go through. We're going through modules, blah blah blah. And he would break it down. Even if I wasn't there yet, I could watch the recordings. After watching the lessons and Donovan's examples, I got extra understanding because he would go and put the GitHub up of the code that he worked on, and he would put the lesson in video, so I could follow along in on his code and follow along in the video as well. So that it was like a solid, solidifying, yeah, right. So I could make sure I understood everything.
Yeah. Going back to what you said a while ago, you finished that project and you felt that pride in it. I feel like it's that feeling of realizing that you didn't know you would be capable of this maybe like years back, years ago.
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
just like that feeling of when you were going through the process, you were tired, you had no sleep, you were grinding, but afterwards it's
Mhm.
like I know now what I'm capable of.
Right. Yep.
Know what I can do now. So now it's only up from here. Like
Mm.
now I know what my standard is right now.
Yeah.
I think that it is that feeling that people just love to have and what continues you to actually, push through things that are hard, like especially tech and coding. That is not something that you can go through if you're impatient. You have to have so much
Yeah. You
for
do.
it. And it honestly builds character. Like, I mean, yeah, you learn like a lot of technical skills and like some soft skills, but like it honestly like builds and develops your character as
Oh
a
yeah. Yeah, it definitely does
person.
that.
Yeah, no. And so I also just love how that was able to kind of support you and you were able to find that with yourself as well as within the curriculum with kind of the balance of things and kind of
Yeah.
how there was a lot of different ways that you were receiving the information. Maybe some parts didn't click as well, but there were always some parts that did. And
Yeah.
then
No, absolutely.
because you had an actual person that you're communicating with, they were able to really be there for you and speak directly to you and talk you through all the stuff that you were going through.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you think that, considering all the projects that you have done up so far, that you feel prepared and equipped with tools that you think are going to help you succeed? Things, that you've got from your learning, things that you kind of come across with your instructors, whether that is technical skills, whether that is soft skills. Would you say that you have a level of preparation that you think is notable and significant to you and for what your goals are?
Um, that's a good question. I would have to say no. I don't know that
Yeah,
I would say I have the tools. I'm equipped.
yeah.
I'm definitely equipped. Prepared? No, I'm not
Yeah.
prepared yet. I'm still getting there.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
that I'll ever be fully prepared because in the real world, maybe sometimes they don't use Python.
Mhm.
So I know beyond this course, there are a couple of languages that I may need to kind of
You have to
learn
brush
up,
up on.
yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of brush up on
Yeah.
and learn on my own. So I would say Um, absolutely. I have a specific tool set in my possession that I can hone and sharpen and make sure that they're ready. But I don't know that I'll ever be prepared, even after I get into the work world, because prepared means, in my mind, prepared is hey, I've got the I've got the solutions. I'm ready to
Everything. So like just
for
bring it
everything,
to me.
right?
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
But even in the work world, you're still learning. I still want to learn. I still want to
Right.
grow, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And in order for me to learn, and in order for me to truly grow and embrace the unknown, I can't fully be prepared, right? I'm prepared to learn,
Yeah.
in that sense, right? But I'm never
Yeah.
prepared to say, dude, I've got this, I've got it all the way. I'll never go into a job saying I know, I'm going into a job saying how, right? How do you guys do this? How do you want this done?
Yeah.
Because even if you have the knowledge skills, the procedures may be different from one employer to another,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I love that perspective so much. Is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I feel like what anyone would need to learn is not necessarily being prepared and thinking that you have the answers to everything, but being someone that knows how to learn. So the skill
Right.
of learning and the skill of being able to adapt and just accept the fact that, you might not know everything and you might not be prepared for everything, but you have to learn to be comfortable with that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
at least be resourceful
Yeah.
you have on you and then just build it from there. So I really love that take is because I feel like there's such a intimidating factor when people don't feel prepared. I
Yes.
think that it is so normal to not feel prepared, and you not feeling prepared for everything is not a bad
It's
thing.
super it's
Yeah.
it's it's a great place to be,
Right.
because not
Yeah.
being prepared means you have the opportunity to learn. You've got
And
the
grow.
opportunity
Right.
to grow. You've got the opportunity to expand your
Mm,
knowledge. And even now, I've got 17 years as desktop support and building out servers and handling switches and routers and wireless access points and stuff like that. I've been doing all that stuff for 17 years. I
mm,
still will not go into any desktop support job or system administration job and say I know everything, right?
yeah.
Because there's an error message out there that I still haven't seen yet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's something. There's a piece of hardware. Maybe Dell or HP came out with a new type of server or a new hybrid type of hardware that
Mhm.
I haven't touched, right? And I can't go into that experience saying, "Oh, I already know how to do this," because I
Right.
don't,
Right.
right? I'm just going to make myself look like a fool. And so in trying to not do that, I'm
Yeah.
never going to say that. I'm going to be like, this
Yeah.
is new to me. Let's do some research on how we can figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I can apply the knowledge that I do have to
Mhm.
understanding maybe some of the software, understanding, how to process or how to um configure
Yeah.
some of it.
Yeah.
But then the part that I don't know, I look it up. I look it up and research and work with a team and maybe deal with someone who has dealt with it and understands it. So that in that regard, yeah, I can't be fully prepared for anything. I can only make sure that I am equipped,
Hmm.
right? And I'm very well equipped
Yeah.
with Coding Temple. I love the tools that you guys have given to me so far, and the tools that I'm still getting. So yeah, absolutely, I'm very much equipped.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something that I have heard, and this applies to, any industry, and it's that when it comes to someone that you're hiring or someone that you're working with, people are always gonna go for someone that is teachable, someone that
Right,
you can train. Because if
right.
if maybe it's an attitude thing, if there is someone that because of how their attitude or mindset is, you can't teach them or you can't train them, it
Yep,
doesn't matter how good they are. Like you're not gonna be able to help them adapt to what you need and what your company's problems are. But if
that
you
is
have
very true.
someone that is, yeah, if you have someone that is willing to learn, someone that is willing to understand and get trained, then that is all you need. Is because nobody knows everything. At some point, nobody knew anything. So,
Exactly. Everyone had from beginning, we've all had teachers, we all went to school,
what's going on?
we
Yeah,
all had instructors, someone taught us something. We never grew up knowing everything, right? The only reason we know what we know is because of those who have come before us that taught us. And the teachers who have taken their time in elementary and middle and high school, teaching us things we'll probably never use in life, but some things that we will, right? And from that point on, professionally, you get a job. You don't know everything when you get your first job. You have to be trained. There's someone there that's going to train you and say this is how you should do this particular job, right?
Yes.
And so all throughout life you're learning. So how you can ever go to a job interview and be like, oh, I already know everything, I know this, I know that, and come off as unteachable, like you said, is beyond me, because your whole life you've been learning. How can you say that? You know what I mean? It makes zero sense to me. I don't understand that.
Not
And yeah, it's just crazy. So I try to be the exact opposite of that and say, teach me. I want to learn. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
exactly what you said. I think that it is such an underrated idea and skill is I feel like, and this is still so common, is because even with when I'm, when I'm surrounded by people that are applying to jobs and work, is that you always want to come off as like an authority. People are always trying to, come off as like, okay, yes, I know exactly how to solve this and I know how to
Right.
solve that. But it's like you want the biggest asset that you could have is to be adaptable, is because then
Mhm.
you can quite literally change towards anything. You're not fixed. You're not just set and
There you
stuck
go.
on this one thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're not teachable, you're stagnant. You're just
Yep. You're
there. You
stuck.
don't move. Right. And so I think I just love the way that you worded that with, preparedness, is because I think that I definitely was expecting an answer that had to be more technical. So I love the way that you shifted it towards like a much bigger picture of like, okay, no, this is what it actually means for me. And
Right.
how I honestly feel about it. Like I loved your honest thoughts on that. That was real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very personal. Then yeah, that's totally valid. The fact that you will never become truly prepared, especially
Mm.
when you go out in the workforce. Because you also have to consider the fact that tech is constantly evolving. Like there's gonna be always a new tools coming
Yes.
up, new programming languages, or
Yes.
sometimes, with the rise of AI and everything else that's been automating basically everything that we've been doing.
Yep.
So, and then,
Technology
yeah,
is always changing, always changing.
yeah,
But
agree.
And
even
it's so difficult to like put down where you want, like to say, oh, I know this and this is, what I'm going to specialize in,
Mhm.
because that will eventually change too. You know what I mean?
yes.
Everything changes, especially in technology. Everything, because they're always trying to make things a little bit better, or
Right. Right.
enhance it in some way, like with AI. I'm not looking forward to AI. I'm not looking super forward to it. And I'm a
Yeah.
tech guy. I'm in tech. I've been in tech for years. I love technology. I love the latest and greatest little gadgets and things like that. But I'm not looking forward to this. But I am learning to embrace it slowly, slowly. But I'm learning to slowly embrace it and try to understand it, and understand how it can better help us as coders, or even in my previous career field as tech or desktop support or system administrator, how AI can better assist in those type of fields, right? So it's yeah, you're right, Pat. The being prepared is, again, a little bit irrelevant, because everything is always changing and always growing. And it's hard to say, oh, I'm fully prepared for this, when there could be a new technology coming out next year. You know what I mean? In that particular career field. So yeah.
Something that you kind of touched on that I think that people need to just discuss more is how you said that you have been in tech for super long, and even you weren't, you're not super into this AI thing. And I think that the important characteristic that you kind of highlighted was that you have to be open-minded. Because
Yeah.
if you're not open-minded, it's going to be real hard for you. Not even like, you might be a really good learner, but then
Right.
that's being open-minded. Like, you got to be like, okay, so let me take a step back and let
Yeah.
me actually see what this is about and how I can use it. I don't have to use it the same way that other people are using it,
Right.
but I just need to see how, how relevant it is, what are the logistics, like what, because, like you said, tech is always improving and you are going to need to at least be educated in what's
Yeah. You got to at least be
gotta
somewhat
know.
knowledgeable on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Love this conversation so far. Like
Me
moving,
too. This is actually fun.
yeah. No, it's like it's really chill. Like I feel like I want to just have again, like our goal with this is always to just have conversations with you guys and
Mm,
just learn more about like your perspectives and your raw on what your future is, all those kinds of things. So
right.
going on to the community aspect of Coding Temple, it's super interesting because this is remote, right? Like it's online.
Right.
And so, of course, we're kind of used to that now, especially ever since COVID. So I'd love to
Hmm.
learn kind of how your experience was with your connections with other students and, any relationships that you had with other students, any other staff, or maybe any memorable group projects that you might have had going through. Because I know that, everyone has different experiences when it comes to collaboration online. Sometimes it's for people, sometimes it's not for people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so um I have so once I finished the core course, I did the building in public. I did my LinkedIn. I made a whole thing on post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did say was I made a lot of new friends, right? That is so true. Two in particular that I can think of. Tanisha Bevins, who is my best friend. I think I've made a new best friend for life. We talk every day, and I she's so smart and so creative. Probably one of the best people in my life personally. And Gabe Godoy. Gabe, listen, Gabe is I don't know that there are words for the
Speechless.
there's not words for the kind of human being that he is. Gabe was maybe 3 or 4 months ahead of me. So he didn't really, have to help me, right? Every time Gabe helped me, he would have to go back, into his GitHub, kind of refresh himself on whatever it was I was going through. And he would work with me and sit with me and make sure that I understood, certain issues or things like that, right? That's one thing. And then Gabe would check on me constantly. I just happened to meet Gabe on a random Saturday when we were doing like a Code Wars, I think.
Yeah.
One of the instructors was doing maybe like a Code Wars, and it was for anybody who wanted to join, and so I joined. And Gabe was there, and he was working his way through this Code War, and I didn't understand any of it. I think I had just started the program, so I
Yeah.
literally was just joining in just to be
Yeah.
nosy, right?
Yeah.
And he was working his way through it, and I was just like, dude, you're amazing. And he was like, nah, he was like, it's all you're gonna get there too.
It's
He was like, don't,
nothing.
yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And from that point on, a friendship was born. Even now, Gabe has since graduated and is on. I still keep up with him on LinkedIn. I still message him all the time. I let him know my progress. He's always checking up on me. Gabe is one of a he's there are very few people in this world that you can call friend
Mhm.
that are dependable, that are kind-hearted. They are just always going to be in your corner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Gabe is that he's that person for me. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up because
Oh,
he truly
it's
is
okay.
a very wonderful person. And uh he asked me for a he hasn't asked for anything ever. And he asked me for like a reference, I think a LinkedIn reference. And I tried to write the best reference that I could ever write for any human being, right? Because I felt so deeply. And I think even Gabe didn't even realize how much, how impactful he had been to me.
Mhm.
Because I'm not sure even with Christian's help and understanding it, trying to understand everything. Christian is still the instructor, so he couldn't be there for me all the time. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
tried to be there for me when he could, but I don't know that I still would have made it through the course had
Yeah.
it not been for Gabe. You understand?
Yeah.
And he's such a
Mhm.
beautiful human being. Um, he's an amazing person. I get so emotional. I'm such a freaking crybaby.
No, 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 no.
I
Like
am.
It's
I'm
I
such a
okay.
crybaby.
no, when I
I'm an
tell you,
emotional person, so
oh,
it's
when I
ridiculous. It's so
no,
It's all
ridiculous.
right.
when I
You're
tell
good.
you, I almost was gonna get like a little what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah,
about because when I tell you, like I am also like a lover,
yeah,
and so I think that why it gets us so emotional whenever we experience these things because it's like it's the fact that a human like this exists for me in
yes. It's
my
so
life.
rare. It's
In
so
my life,
rare.
whenever you least expect it. And so
Yeah,
it's like you didn't know that you really needed that until it happened
yeah,
in the moment, and you were just like, wow, like this, like it could have went completely different.
yeah,
I
yeah.
could have been
Absolutely.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
If it weren't for
I
this.
have one time where I was going through and having a hard time with a lesson, whatever, and I reached out to Gabe and he got on the call with me. He had literally just dealt with someone breaking into his home and, you know, robbed and stole a lot of his belongings, and you could visibly see that he was down, and you know, he was just discouraged, right? Because
Mhm.
anytime somebody steals your things and you
Oh,
know all that stuff, is it's a terrible thing when you get your home broken into.
God.
And you know, even through that, he still sat with me and helped me,
And
right?
that's love right there. Like
That's ridiculous. That's
that,
insanity, you know? And I'm not even sure that I would have done the same thing.
and it makes you feel like,
Right.
the censor, right? And I have to
Yes.
say, surviving.
No, that gave me time to get myself together here.
Pick yourself up. No, no,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no. Like
it's okay.
that,
Go
like we
ahead.
gotta get in the fields. We gotta get
Listen, my
nitty-gritty.
degree is in music production. That's what my degree is in. And you know, as
Wow.
far as songwriting, and I'm a huge songwriter and I love, you know, making music. I'm a very creative person, which is why I originally was going to go for front end development. But I chose back in because I wanted to do something I felt a little bit that would be a little bit more how do I say it, like a little bit more useful in the work world, right? You don't have as many, there's still plenty of front end developers. But you know, you don't have a whole team working on one website, right? You've got a couple of front end guys that are doing the creative side and styling all the buttons and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
And then you got a depending on the size of the company, you'll have a few more back-end developers, as it were, trying to handle the database and all of the back-end logic. So, but yeah, no, as far as emotion goes and all that stuff, I'm a very, very emotional person because I write songs. So I tap into
Beautiful.
people's emotions when I write songs for them too. So it's weird.
You gotta write a song for
For,
for the here. Now you got to,
yeah, I
you
was thinking
have
about that.
to, you got to, and you gotta send that to us when it's out,
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm be
so we
getting
can
a
literally
whole
amplify
song of me
that.
crying.
No, like another thing that I feel like is super amazing with us and what we try to do is that we know that we'd always try to be that go-to place for people that are super untraditional, right? When it comes
Mhm.
to backgrounds. And so we also don't want it to become this thing where people, lose sight of what their actual, hobby or talent or passion was before. And so
Right.
that's huge. That's part of what makes you who you are. And so whatever we can also do to amplify that part of yourself, because that's part of you, then that's important too.
All right. Yeah.
So I love that you shared that because I can kind of relate is because me as well, I'm very much a creative person.
Hmm.
I was always doing arts as a kid. I hated math. I
Oh
even
yes.
science. And so I actually chose to study information systems. And I'm more of a marketing girl, but I chose to study information systems.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was for that same reason of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I know I suck at it, so I might as well study it so
Right.
I can make it useful. So I really like resonate with you on that because I kind of understand how you were, approaching that thinking. And like I agree with that. Like I love that. And so
Yeah.
because when do you come across a back end that is more in the creative mind? I think that
Right.
something that you did really well to kind of set yourself in a more unique position
Yeah,
compared to everyone else.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, awesome, awesome. So now that was a beautiful conversation. I love
No
that
worries.
was amazing. If you mind me asking, what kinds of how is your songwriting? Like what kinds of music do you kind of get into?
I love anything. I'm huge. I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. I love Morgan Wallen and country music. I've really been kind of getting into that on that emotional side.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I love R&B and old school R&B. I guess the music that we grew up on now. I'm 37 now, so that's old school now to my nieces and nephews, right? My music is, of course, I love, growing up Chris Brown and
Oh my,
little,
yeah.
Bow Wow, 50 Cent, all those
Oh my
guys.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the ones that we grew up on, right?
Mhm.
And Usher and all those guys. So but also I'm a huge like punk rock fan. I love punk rock and Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
I love pretty much anything. I'm not really picky.
Anything that gets you to feel, right?
Yeah,
Like anything that can get that over to you.
yeah.
Have you ever thought
Good.
of intersection that you would have between, your back end skills and music? I know it's two completely industries, but I'm just curious at
I've
all.
always thought, my the music and my system administration background would probably clash more, a little bit more because I can absolutely build up
Yeah.
a small network for a small studio,
Yeah.
and build the virtual servers, and the
Yeah.
file server that where they can store all of the songs and things like that. I can definitely do that. That would definitely be something, I think would make me very valuable in, like, if I was to do like an internship at a recording studio or something like that.
Yeah.
Because any Mac or PC related issues that come up, or server related issues,
Yeah.
I can handle without them needing to leave out house.
Yeah.
On the development side, I could still do some front end work. I can still build a basic web page for them, and make sure that there's a database for people to log into. And now that I'm doing back end, a lot of the core coursework was front end, dealing with JavaScript and React and Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, all of those, again, tools that I'm equipped with, right? I can utilize those tools, that and build a solid front end, build a solid web page for a client, and then I can go and say I also have back end, advanced back end,
Right.
right? And
Right.
I can say, let me get your database up and running. Let me get your logic for your registration page and your login page. Let me get that up and running for you. That way, when people come to your site, they can log in, they can create an account, and all of that
Not at
stuff will,
all.
will be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like one thing
So
together. Yeah.
that's kind of, I think, where if I were to do a studio related, like a studio related job, that's probably where that development part where might come in
Yeah.
handy there. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes right into my next question because I was just about to ask you like what you're kind of looking ahead, what your goals were for the future because you were smiling the entire time you were talking about that. I hope you
Oh,
know.
really?
Like I could tell like you were like you're
Yeah.
passionate about it. So I mean
Yeah.
maybe that's obviously like, something nice for you and something that you can see yourself doing. But what would you say that your goals are now looking into the future aside from, obviously taking care of your family, having what is it
Yeah.
for yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I right now, as of right now, I am we're currently kind of doing an internship with Atlas International,
Yeah.
which is they're kind of an up and coming video game company. So I'm literally kind of getting a hands-on experience and learning and kind of jumping in there on the development side, building the database out, and helping build out the web page for, it's like a web-based video game.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited, very
Wow.
excited for that. I signed the NDA, so I don't know how much I can say. So I'm just gonna
Oh,
leave
no,
it
no,
at,
no, no. We'll be
It's
surprised.
yeah.
okay.
Are you big into video games?
I'm a huge
Oh,
gamer. I
oh
do
my
stream on
God.
Twitch from time to time. Sometimes,
Wow.
You
actually,
do?
yeah. So I make music on Twitch. Actually, that's one of the things that I do. I'll literally start a beat. I have my own little recording studio.
And if you gotta share that, like
Yeah.
ASAP, like ASAP,
Well, it's not. It's all
right,
in.
right
I
now,
I
Send us
just
the
right
link.
now.
moved. I just moved, so it's
That
all
is
in
so
boxes now. But
cool. Yeah.
I have, yeah, I've got a whole nice little setups. But yeah, I've got some out hardware,
Mhm.
outboard hardware. I've got a compressor, preamp, all that good stuff. I've got a really nice microphone,
Wow.
and I'll literally make a beat on Twitch, and I'll, if I like it, I'll continue it until the beat is done, until the song is the melody is complete, and everything, all the parts of the song are complete,
Yeah.
and then I'll start writing to it and I'll record it on stream. I usually don't do that. My creative process is very internalized,
Hmm.
because I normally make music for me. It's
Right.
my way of therapy, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually become very fun to do it live and making
In a more
mistakes.
collaborative
Yes,
way.
and when I'm singing the hooks or something like that, and I try to find the melody or the harmonies,
Yeah.
it's very difficult sometimes, and sometimes I just cannot come up with the harmony, but I just keep trying.
Right.
You can't stop and redo it on live. You're right. You're live. You
Yeah.
just keep
Exactly.
it going. So the harmonies that come out are usually very nice, but they I work for them, and people can tell. It's like, okay, this is, he's good, but he ain't no professional. So, so,
Right. You're being real with it though. Like
right,
that's
yeah,
how.
it's all real. It's all very
Yeah.
much real, and
Yeah.
so that's how I like it. I like my music to be raw and real and very relatable, and to be fun. I want it to be fun. So,
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's super. But I also game. I love Rainbow Six Siege, and that is my
Oh
game.
my
That
God.
is my game for life. I love that game, and so I'll some days I stream. I'm just streaming Rainbow Six, and I've got a small community. I've got about maybe 100 followers,
Yeah.
and it's
Wow.
fun when they get on and everyone's communicating and joking and making fun. I'm not the greatest player, so I miss a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
you got
have
you
been.
got the chat that's making fun of my shots, and I love it. I don't care. I love it. I love it all.
I've not played Rainbow Six, but I've had the pleasure of being on a FaceTime call with someone who was playing it, and so I
Hmm.
saw it and I heard it, and yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a
It's
time.
an intense
It's
game.
a time.
It takes a good little bit to learn it. Once you learn it, it's fun.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's amazing. Um, Following on all the awesome wisdom and just everything that you had, all your perspectives, what would you say would be your advice to give someone that is considering going through something like this? Maybe they're on the fence about it. Maybe they think that it's not even for them at all, but they just came across it. What do you think, would be your advice to someone that is looking to take the next step, but they're just scared of, what if it doesn't work out?
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're gonna like it. You don't know. I didn't know. So, you jump in head first. Give it your all. If it's not for you, back out. It's okay. It doesn't have to be for you. That's the joy of not knowing, right? Because once you know, you're informed. If it's not for you, that's okay. You don't have to continue in it, right?
Mhm.
That's just, but now there's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
There's no penalty. You're not gonna get arrested if you what I mean. If
Literally.
you Yeah, if you try it and it's not for you and you just really hate it, you just stop. Just cancel it. That's all you have to do. That it's literally a phone call, a message, whatever.
Mhm.
But there's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
There's no fear. There's fear, but don't let that fear stop you from trying, because there's no actual harm. There's no physical damage that can be done from
Yeah.
you trying, from you taking
Yeah.
that shot, and you may be surprised like I was. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
If you could
I
go
love
through
that.
all of this all over again from the beginning, do you
Oh, I
think
do it from day one.
do
I
you
would do
think
it
you would have done
absolutely.
anything differently?
No, no,
Everything as is. No
as is.
regrets.
No
I
regrets.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
Because
it.
I wouldn't have. met Gabe. I wouldn't have met Nisha. I wouldn't have met um, Christian. I wouldn't have met Dylan and all of these great people. Jessica and Daniel. All of these people are
Yeah.
just amazing. Alan, they're all amazing instructors, amazing people, first of all, and then amazing instructors. And Jessica, even after Christian left, I was so heartbroken when Christian left. He didn't even say goodbye. And me and Nisha we were so sad because he was our instructor. We started together. And we were just like, where's Christian? One day he was there, and then the next day he just wasn't.
Okay.
But even through the ending of my core course and getting through that core course, Jessica always would message me, "Hey,
Mhm.
I see you're still working at it. You're still chipping away. Good job. You're doing it excellent. You've got this.
Oh,
Is there anything? Do you need any resources that can I help you with anything?" She would go out of her way to check up on me and make sure that I was good, right? Again, that's just she didn't have to do that. That
yeah,
wasn't,
yeah,
it's not part of her job description.
yeah.
And she literally walked me through the last part of that course because I started feeling a little discouraged. I was behind in my course, and a lot of my other classmates had already gone through and they were finishing up their specializations,
Mhm.
and I just felt a little discouraged. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And she encouraged me, and she said, "No, you don't stop. You're already there.
right.
You've got maybe like one or two modules left. Get them done. Let's go through it. Let's do it. Let me help you however I can, and get you where you need to be." And again, I've completed that core course
Mhm.
because she was always there. She was so instrumental. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was perfect. Yeah, she's amazing. She's awesome.
that's beautiful. Do
Mm.
you think that you would have any advice or anything to say to someone that wanted to make sure that they wanted to get the most out of Coding Temple? If they wanted to make sure that they absolutely maximize it, what do you think you would tell them?
Um, That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out myself because,
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't. I'm not sure that I've gotten the most that I've maximized it.
Mhm.
But maybe I'll have an opportunity to. I think,
Yeah.
time management, something that I did not have, a good grasp on at the beginning of this course. Time management, when you're going through the core course, um, just you know try to get through it as quickly as you can. Understand the material. But just manage your time. Take time to. Oh, okay. We have 1 minute. Okay, so just take your time. Take time to understand what you need to do because I can ramble. And all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just take your time. Manage your time as best you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. No, thank you so much. Like, we really appreciate your time. We
of
appreciate
course.
everything that you had to say. Like, your story was super inspirational. I gotta say, like, I loved hearing the things that were unrelated to
Yeah.
Coding Temple, that were unrelated to, which I mean, it's still related to you because we had you here. You were one of our students for life,
All
and
right.
for life,
Yeah.
life.
Right.
For life. And it was just so cool to hear kind of your mentality behind everything and the reason
Yeah.
why you are the person you are today. So like we really appreciate sharing all your deep thoughts, getting
Of
vulnerable
course.
and
Of
like
course. It was
Thank
my
you,
pleasure.
Kenneth.
Thank you
conversation.
guys for having me. It's so
Yeah, yeah,
awesome. This
yeah.
was awesome. Thank you.
This was awesome. Follow-up steps. We're gonna have this. We'll get you this media once we kind of have this process and everything, so that you can also share this as well in your own way.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like we appreciate it. We'll keep touch. Anything you need, as always, we're just
Uh,
a disco text away.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so much. We
Of
appreciate
course. It was nice meeting you
Thanks,
both.
it.
Kenneth.
Have a great rest of your
Bye.
day, okay? Bye.
Okay. Bye.